and for your support. And if you have any questions, please.
Governor, can you explain why your administration has raised public college tuition fees, park fees, medical premiums, and eliminated the renter's tax credit and the teacher's tax credit?
Well, as I've promised during my campaign, while the other side has, or I should say the previous administration has increased the college tuitions so rapidly within 1 year, I think it was almost 30%, I've promised that that is outrageous and that I would never do that as governor, that I would never increase the college tuition fees by more than 10% as an average. Because that is fair to the people, then the families can budget and they can know ahead of time what increases are coming. And that's exactly what we have done the first 2 years. The third year, because of our economic boom, and because revenues came back bigger than we expected, we actually suspended the college tuition increase. So this suspension, the way it's going right now, because our revenues are still coming in much more than we expected, so if that continues on, we may be able to suspend also for next year. So we have never gone and increased anything that we didn't say ahead of time. I always keep my promises, everything that I said during the campaign. And the same was also with not raising taxes. I promised during the campaign I would not raise taxes, and we didn't. As a matter of fact, we did the opposite. We gave money back to the people, we gave money back into the economy, because I'm a strong believer that's what creates the action in the economy and the business. It makes the businesses boom.
But just to follow up, why put the burden on these groups as opposed to, say, farmers or wealthy people?
No, everyone has to contribute. This is very clear, but the college tuition fees were too low compared to the rest of the country, so we raised it up a little bit. And like I said, the key thing here is what the previous administration has done is they raised it so astronomically that it was unfair to the parents, unfair to the students, unfair to everybody. And this is why I said during my campaign when I ran for governor, I would never increase the college tuition fees by more than 10%.
Governor?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Governor, as one of the speakers alluded to, Phil Angelidis did propose tax cuts for 4.5 million middle-class Californians by his definition, under $100,000 per family. Do middle-class Californians deserve a tax cut, and would you push one, and how?
I think that what is important is for us to stimulate the economy so people can benefit from that. I think that we still have a debt to pay off. We started with a $22 billion debt that I've inherited when I became governor, and now we are paying the debt off. We're down to around $16.5 billion. It's important for us to bring the structural deficit down even further and to really bring it down to zero so that we don't have the $3.5 billion structural deficit, but we also brought that down from $16.5 billion to $3.5 billion. So I think there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. So I am not ready yet to talk about any of that other than protecting the taxpayers, that we will not have any tax increases. That is the important thing. We want to give money back to the people of California so they can spend that money, invest that money, expand their businesses, and save the money. I think that's what we want to do. And that's exactly what we have done over the last 2.5 years. We continuously always looked out for the taxpayers to make sure that they get money back. That's why we stopped the car tax increase, and this is why we also reformed workers' compensation. And the other side talks about rolling back workers' compensation. That's not even included in this $18 billion list that you have just heard. Add that to it, because if you start rolling it back, that is an additional $8 billion right there. It would be a big mistake for the state of California. What we want to do is we want to be competitive. We are in a global economy, and this is why I go overseas. I will be going on trade missions this year again to Mexico and also next year again all over the world to sell California products. The only way we can be competitive and keep businesses here, like I said earlier, we must strive towards keeping businesses here in California. The only way we can do this is by protecting businesses and protecting people. We're not increasing the tax.